Our next guest was a mid-season arrival in one of the most beloved seasons of Calgary Flames hockey. Welcome back to a summer edition of Barn Burner. Ryan Pinder, Rhett Warner, and a two-time teammate of yours, Rhett. How lucky are we to have Marcus Nilson here today? All right.
Thank you.
One of my favorites, favorite Swede sitting over across the room.
Now, how did this come to be? I got a text from you like 6 days ago. You're like, do you think we should chat with Marcus Nilson? I'm like, hell yes, we should. Are you kidding me? Like, and Marcus, you have not returned. You said your English is rusty. Where have you been hiding the last 20 years?
Well, I was here till 2008, and then I went and played in Europe till 2015. Then I moved back home, Stockholm, Sweden.
Crazy. So is it nice to be back?
How did this come together, though? Because I talked to Byron Ritchie, must have been in May, and he was going over to Europe for some world.
Yeah, his son was playing in the under
18s, and then he ran into you over there. Is that where you saw him?
No, I wasn't there, but I talked to him once in a while.
Yeah. And then, so then we started texting, and then he said he's coming to town. I'm like, holy shit, get him in. Here we go.
So let's go back to Florida. We'll get back to your childhood in a bit, but I do want you to tell us about your first interactions with Rhett Warner. Your rookie year was Rhett's last year in Florida. You got traded midway through the year, Rhett. Do you have a distinct memory of Rhett at that point, or was he just one of the guys as this rookie that's kind of stunned?
Such a long time ago, but
right?
I wasn't there for much of that year, though. I was in the minors.
Okay.
I think I might have played 7 games or something.
8 games, it shows.
Okay.
Yeah. So it
was mostly training camp and sent off to New Haven, Connecticut.
Yeah, beautiful New Haven. But you were over the year before for playoffs, and we played the Rangers, and Gretzky went off and was scoring goals, and Keenan, I think he scored the OT winner in Game 5 to knock us out of it.
And then he signed,
And then he came back in great shape. He was dialed in the next season, just 30 or 40 pounds overweight when he showed up, telling Dave Smith, I'm not riding the bike. I don't care about your test.
Thank you for asking. No, I will not ride the bike.
Yeah. I think when I was over the year before, like, it was easy to connect with like Rhett and Jovo was there. And I mean, they're young guys. Like, so got to know them a little bit at least.
I remember him getting drafted, and I was just grateful it was a forward, not somebody trying to take my job. So that was good. And I have to bring this story up because I picked up Marcus this morning from the hotel, and he said his brother was coming with him, and I'm lying in bed last night. I'm like, brother, what was his brother's name again? Oh yeah, Patrick. Patrick was part of the Flames. What year was that? Lockout year.
Lockout year, yeah.
Yeah. Because Patrick was at my house before training camp started, and I may have had an influence, and not in a positive way.
Let's follow down that track. So you were giving him bad advice, Rhett? What could have happened?
No, I was getting
camp.
an in with the GM of the team at that time, Mr. Sutter. I called Big D and I said, Patrick will not be showing up at the rink tomorrow. He's going to be hanging out with me tonight, and he's trying to leave, and I'm not allowing it.
How was that received?
And his story is like, he got to the hotel, his first time in Calgary. He's never met you. And his phone rings in the room. He's like, hey, it's Rhett Warner. Be ready in 10 minutes. I'm picking you up downstairs. It's like, I got camp tomorrow. You're coming.
Well, there's a welcoming committee. Tours in Calgary.
I wanted him to be comfortable and know that he had a place here and friends to be had. So,
and he had friends and he was comfy?
I think so.
That's a win.
He really appreciated it.
Oh, he was such a good kid. Yeah.
So jokes aside, like, is Daryl like, oh, that's all right, you're anointing him, and he's becoming one of us as a Calgarian, or is he like, Rhett, you idiot, what are you doing with my rookie?
Probably a bit of both.
Well, he wasn't, like, to be honest, he wasn't signed, like, he wasn't going to. First of all, it wasn't going to be a season.
Yeah,
right.
He wasn't going to make the big club anyways. So
yeah,
I don't think Daryl's like, but you're better off hanging out with the boys.
It went okay. I'm sure Daryl was like, Jesus, but at the end of it, and it was, I don't know if today's world it's going to be as received as well.
Probably not.
Probably not going to be the same results if you try to pull that one off.
That's
so
fair.
Kids might not do it either. So
okay, you barely know each other, but you know each other from the Florida days. Rhett goes to Buffalo. You continue in Florida. You play 6 seasons there. You eventually become an alternate captain for a few years. And then, boom, the trade occurs mid-season 03-04. The magical year in Calgary. But, I mean, you would have passed through Calgary once every 2 years or something with the schedule. I don't know if you'd have any sort of recollection of what the city was like. But all of a sudden, boom, there's a trade. What was that moment in your career like? Because that would have been the first time you've been to a different market as a player.
Yeah, it was. I think looking back at it, I kind of knew it was going to happen. I just didn't know where I was going to get traded. And then I had heard rumors about Calgary, and I really wanted to go there.
Okay.
And then once I got traded, I remember we were in Toronto. I got the phone call, and I got really excited and flew out the next day and started playing.
So why were you excited about Calgary? You said you really wanted to go to Calgary.
Well, like growing up and stuff, you didn't know much about NHL, but as you got a little older, like I dreamt about playing in Canada. And I know Darryl was a coach, and I had Darryl's brother as a coach in Florida, and I really liked them, and so I was hoping.
So you knew you were going to get.
If I get traded, I want to get traded to Canada, and I heard rumors about Calgary, so I was hoping for it.
It's funny because we talk about it all the time, like, oh, these Americans, they don't want to come play in Canada. Oh, the Russians, where are they going to show up and where are they not? And then it's like, like Miami would have been crazy, but to play hockey in Canada, that's going to be more like being at home than being in Miami.
Miami was great because it was Florida and you got the sun and this and that. But the negatives to it was your fan base isn't rampant. There are people that really like it. The new rink was built out in Sunrise. And when you're good, people will travel a little bit. But I guarantee you there'll be games next year in December where that rink is not full,
like
even after winning the Stanley Cup, right? So there's lots of positives. The taxes are great. The weather's great. But you don't have that passion for the game that's just ingrained in the people. Like even this year, all those fans, awesome experience and winning the cup, and they're going to like hockey more and more because of it. It's not the same as Canada. It's not the same as Sweden. It's just not. It's a non-hockey market.
Yeah. Plus, or if you're winning like they did this year, I mean, it's probably a lot more fun.
Yes.
I was there a lot of the years. We had a bad team, so it was fun for the first year. You got to walk in shorts every day. But after that, I mean, you want to be competitive.
You're playing to play hockey. Yeah, you want to win. You're competitive, and there were years there that were a struggle.
Yeah,
during the time you were there. Yeah.
So walk us through arriving in Calgary. You're excited. The trade finally happens. It's been rumored. You were hopeful for Calgary. You get Calgary. What do you remember about coming and then seeing this jackass again?
I just remember flying in, and I think we had a game the same day, and I met the boys for lunch, I think, and at least I had one familiar face. And
did you know anyone else?
Not really, no. Not that I remember.
Trying to think back on that team, and I don't. Yeah,
I knew Kipper a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And I think Ville Nieminen was here.
Yeah,
I knew the Euros a little bit.
Yeah,
but other than that, no.
Ville arrived that year. Chris Simon arrived that year. You arrived. That was such a fun year as a fan of the team.
That year too,
yeah,
right?
That's true. Yeah. All in trade. And it was like, it went from this plucky, hardworking group that probably wasn't good enough to like, holy shit, they got a goalie. You've got Jerome. You had some good blue liners. And now Daryl's like adding some pieces at the deadline. Like, buckle up. This playoff drought's over. Like, there was real excitement around town. And as a player in the other conference, you obviously noticed that as well, that this was going to be a good team.
Well, at least we were in the playoff hunt when I was looking at it before I got traded. So, I mean.
Was that a different feel? I mean, obviously you're getting traded and you're in a playoff hunt. So maybe it all combines and you don't know it. But like in Florida, that first year you were there, I think we lost 13 games in a row.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now you were only there for parts of it.
Yeah.
But like we literally got our asses. We lost 13 games in a row. It was like, this is not good. And so you hadn't had that experience. You walk into easier to play though, is it not? I always thought so.
So much more fun to play
Yeah.
and easier. Yeah. I mean, you're always
Your
competing.
emotions are higher.
Yeah.
Because there had to be times in Florida. I was that way the year we lost 13 games in a row where you're waking up from your pregame nap and you're literally looking out the window and you're like, if I go this way, there's an ocean and a beach and a pub. And if I go this way, there's an empty arena and I'm going to get my ass kicked. Like
bikinis,
which way
winter jackets.
You had to mentally fight yourself at times.
Whereas I think you go through a process too, right? Like your first year, you try to make it, trying to make it in the league and
find your way,
playing time, find your way. Then, but once you've established yourself a little bit, maybe played a couple of years, then you're like, I want to win hockey games.
Yeah. Yes.
What the hell is this?
Yeah. Do you remember who we played your first game?
No.
That
I have no idea.
You came right at the deadline, I'm sure. Like it was trade deadline day, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
No, maybe a couple of days
before. Okay.
I just remember we had a one game trip against Toronto. So I had one suit. That's it.
Oh no. So you're like, how am I going to get all my belongings from the other side of the continent?
Yeah.
So how did you figure that out? Is you call them?
They take care of it.
Just tried to go down to the stores here and get some
a little Holt Renfrew, Supreme Menswear, and start spending.
Love it.
I just have to say, I remember Derek called me because he's the one that called me to tell me I got traded. It was a short phone call.
Daryl, you don't say.
We just traded for you. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Boom.
All right.
What did you think of the team when you got here and you got to look around? Did you see the special run coming, or did that take time? Because it wasn't the sexiest group, but it all worked. You had Daryl, the coach, the goalie, one guy that could fill the net. I mean, it was
73 points. I just looked it up.
No,
that's how many points Iggy had that year. Leading scorer. Isn't that crazy? 73.
And it was one of the lowest scoring years in the league.
Regardless.
Yeah, like a guy would have won the Art Ross with less than 100, I bet.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
There was red line offside. It was
yeah.
There's no rules.
Yeah.
Water ski through the neutral zone. Just hang on
so good.
So once they took that away, I was like, this is going to be tough. Like, I can't skate.
So you come in to be a checking forward. You were sort of known for your versatility, center of the wing. Where did you fit in, and what did you think of the group when you finally got here under Daryl, got to see you for a bit?
It's a tough question. It's a long time ago.
I know, yeah.
I think felt like you just fit in right away. And
yeah.
We had a good group.
It was such a great group of guys. Like from day one, it was so much fun.
You might remember the parties at Rhett's house more than you remember where you played.
I remember him and Kipper were mad at me because after we lost Game 7, we flew home and it had been long.
Yeah,
I was done. I was so tired, and they wanted to have a drink, and I'm like, I have to go to bed. Go back to the house on Madison, and it was like, I have to go to bed. You loser!
One more drink. Come on. That run was fun. The city turned upside down, and it was not only the end of this like near decade run of no playoffs here, but it was like the most lovable group of players because you weren't supposed to be there. You upset a team every single round to get to the final. What was that run like? Like, the city was chaos.
It's the best hockey experience of my life, for sure. Like, even looking back at it now, like it's been 20 years, like it's still like
gets you emotional, gets the chills, and
chills, like. Just the city, especially your teammates, but the city, the fans, and everything. It was, one goal away. I mean, that sucks.
We were one goal away all the time, though. We were one goal away from going home against Vancouver.
Yeah, that's true.
We're one goal away from going to Game 7 against Detroit. Like it was.
Yeah, I still have nightmares of not winning it, but
really
looking back at it, just that whole.
Guys will say like when you win, it's excitement, euphoria or whatever, but the losses stick with you longer and harder. Does that make sense?
I think so. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, because I did it 3 times. Well, you remember it so fondly. You remember how tight the group was. You remember how hard everyone dug in together. And I mean, you can never relate to actual military and war, but that's as close as we can get to feeling like a band of brothers where we're in this together. Yeah. I'll do anything to help you, and you'll help me, and we'll do it together. And you leave it all out there, and then you lose that last one. But
plus, for me, you talk to people and they say, "Well, you guys lost," but the fact that we even like went there, like it's, like with the team, like
you weren't supposed to get through the first round. Yeah,
I mean, Pi was coaching for 2 rounds, and then he had to lace him up. We didn't have a forward. Like, I remember there was one kid that we didn't have D-man. They brought him in.
Yeah,
Brendan Evans. Right. Yeah, he played like
the East
2
Coast
minutes.
League,
Yeah,
couldn't find his equipment. He was driving around.
I think he got stuck in traffic for the first game. So.
You played all 26 games. I think there was not a lot of guys, especially on the blue line. Like guys were dropping like flies. That physical toll. Tampa had played quite a few games less. You guys went, if I'm correct, 7-6-6-7. Like those are absolute wars. Travel was not easy. San Jose, Detroit aren't close. Like, do you remember just that incredible marathon you had to go through, like physically?
I didn't. It was so much fun. Like I never really. You were just ready to go all the time.
You'd always, yeah. Are there any things, certain series, like we go into Vancouver, we lost game 1, we win game 2. Do you remember the game 6? We're down 4-1 going into the third, come back, but we still lose. I mean, there's so many things. And I always ask guys, like, what are the ones that you remember sticking out? Obviously, you scored that overtime. Was it overtime? Yeah, the overtime goal against Detroit.
Yeah.
All kinds of things that you can think of. Are there anything specifics that you remember in each series? Like frickin' that stupid Cook scores to tie it up.
I remember that.
That was
Wasn't there a jersey on the ice? Someone had thrown a jersey.
A jacket or a jersey or something.
No whistle, nothing.
No whistle. They came down and scored.
Yeah.
And you're pretty quiet in the locker room then.
And then walk me through overtime in that one. That was.
We had power play. Because prior to that, our old teammate Jovanovski, before Cook scored, the reason the draw went outside our zone was because Jovanovski had come down when they pulled the goalie, and he was literally cross-checking me in the head. And I was like, oh, dude, like literally hammered me in the head. And I still remember the ref screaming, Jovo, stop, Jovo, stop, Jovo, stop, like 7 or 8 of them. And then finally he was like, I got to call a penalty.
Yeah.
And he called a penalty. And I mean, we're at that point.
1 goal game late in the third.
It's over.
Yeah.
We did it. Like the draw's outside our zone. Goal. I've sold this. I fell over backwards on the bench. Like I literally went like that. And I was looking at the ceiling. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This is really happening. Like, but we had the power play and we scored right away.
Because the feeling was like, if we don't score right away, it's going to be trouble.
They've got the momentum.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Pinder. We're taking a peek at some NHL futures on Bet365. You can bet on whether a team will or will not make the NHL's postseason. Now, one of the teams that had the biggest overhaul this offseason, I think got a lot better, are the Utah Hockey Club. Changed the decor. They got some money to spend. They're going to have more than 5,000 fans watching their home games. Utah to make the playoffs. Yes, they'll make the playoffs. Plus 180. There's a juicy number for you on Bet365. This segment is brought to you by Bet365, a proud supporter of Barn Burner. Open an account today at Bet365, and you can bet on a wide range of markets. So, whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use promo code FNBONUS. That's promo code FNBONUS. Hey, footy fans, it's Pinder. Your next 2 Cavalry FC home games are coming up on August 24th and 30th. The 24th is a Saturday. The Welcome In Pacific for their multicultural match. Always a good clash when the lads from Victoria enter Atco Field to take on the Cavs, 2 of the top clubs in the opening 6 years of the CPL. August 30th is the next weekend. It's a Friday night clash with Valor. They've actually got the scoring record. I think they scored 7 on Valor back in the first or second year of the league. So never boring when the Cavs get to rip the ball on Valor. Let's see how she goes. August 30th, 7:30 kickoff against the Winnipeggers at Atco Field. We'll see you down at the pitch. Always blast down at Spruce Meadows, Atco Field, and get your tickets at CavsFC.com. And we're back with more Barn Burner. Crazy. The Detroit OT winner. Tell me about it.
The goal, or
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean,
The whole game.
that
What do you remember
series-
about
I
the
just
game?
remember, like, because this was my first playoffs too for me. Like you've been to 2 finals. Like I was a playoff rookie, and like, we go into Detroit, and their team is stacked.
Hall of Famers, the whole lineup.
And they killed us that game.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have a chance basically. But Kipper was in that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they were peppering us.
Oh.
We didn't hardly leave our zone.
and you're sitting there like, is this how it's gonna be? Like, then the goal, I think Jelly had it behind the net, he just threw it in. I just had a one-timer. Kind of lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Kipper, like, there was a lot of games that.
Oh, I remember game 5 because I got hurt in game 2, missed 3 and 4 where we split them at home and got back in game 5. We were up. I forget the score if you want to punch it up, but I think we won by a goal. And they literally had the puck in our end for the last 5 minutes. And all we were trying to do was, I think you were out there and Yeller was out there. And all we were trying to do was block shots and Kipper, like it was just dive. And it was unbelievable. Like they were so talented.
Yeah.
Your first goal since March 24 was the overtime winner against Curtis Joseph. Absolutely pin drop in the rink after that. You steal game 1 and it was like Mika trying to find the number of saves. Like, but that was the thing about this team.
That was
right?
the way we like.
That was the
we
recipe.
played up to our potential. Like we played the way we had to play.
Yeah. Remember we always get in fight too? At the first loss of every series, we'd sigh and everyone, that's just bullshit. Something
We
would
changed
happen.
the rules after that.
Yeah.
I mean, probably wasn't just because of that, but
There was a
probably
little
had
bit.
something to do with it.
Yeah, like the whole notion was we're tougher than you. You can beat us, but we're going to make your life miserable and you guys are going to like not be able to just coast to a win. You're going to have to hurt somehow.
If the game weren't close, when it was going to end, somebody's was going to pay the price.
And we had the team to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I wasn't one of them, but it was fun to watch.
Well, I mean, geez, Olawa and then Simon won too. Like not many teams can roll out anyone close to those
yeah,
two.
no, those two galoots were, gave
Man.
you a lot of room.
We always ask Rhett about it. Like when you're in Calgary, you win a game, the city's upside down. You can hardly drive anywhere. 17th Avenue is like 10, 15 blocks, people partying, taking their clothes off on shoulders, flags flying, camera crews on rooftops, people drinking in the street. Like, did you ever say, maybe we'll go out and see what can happen out there? Or was it like, get away? That's
No,
trouble.
I never did. I wasn't down there once on the 17th. You knew everything was happening, but
Yeah.
try to stay away.
Because didn't you try to go once?
I went 1 block.
And you're like, this
I
is
think it was after San Jose. And I was like, no, this is stupid. It was too much.
I actually took a walk on 17th this morning.
did you? How was that?
Because you woke up at 4
I
a.m.
woke up at 4 a.m.
wide awake.
So I took a walk and head down to 17th and just walked there.
Yeah. Lots changes, but lots the same.
Yeah, I'm just suck in the atmosphere and of the city, basically. Like I haven't been here so long.
This is a great time of year to come back to. There's so many months of the hockey season. You're like, why do people live here? It's so damn cold. But then you get days like today. You're like, oh, wow. Yeah, this is it.
Isn't that cold though? I think I love the climate here.
Yeah.
Like, well, it could be cold, but it's always sunny.
Yep.
Lots of sun.
Yeah.
Like where I live, it's not as cold, but you don't see the sun for 4 months. So.
Yeah. Fair. The lockout that really screwed the group you guys had because I think, some contracts rolled off the books. Daryl had 2 off seasons to maybe oversteer too much as a
He did
GM.
oversteer, and we love Daryl.
And no, totally. And again, some guys a year without playing hockey was not good to keep them in shape. Rhett Warner. So what do you recall about that? You mentioned your brother was in the organization at the time, but you had to go play somewhere. that's gonna be a tough feeling. Yet it's such a good group. You're like, well, let's get back together next year and do it, and then lockout.
Yeah, that's the worst. One of the worst things that ever happened to me, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just not, after what happened, just come back and go at it, and then
give it another go.
Yeah.
Did you play in Sweden that year?
Yeah, I played it the whole year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just played for my hometown team. So
yeah.
So is that like fun, or are you more just upset that the lockouts happening? Because I know a lot of guys in Europe would be like, I'd love to play for my team at the end of my career, but this isn't the end of your career.
No, I was upset the whole year.
Yeah. It'd be frustrating.
Yeah.
I wish someone would have had a better game plan for us, because that sucked that year.
Well, because you keep thinking it's going to get solved. It's going to get solved. And maybe it's not going to get, well, maybe it is. And they don't call it till like February. So you're just dangling for 6 months. Yeah.
It was not good, not ideal. And I think especially for our group, because every time you lose something like that, it hurts. But I think we felt like, I always feel this way. We should have won the series. If we stay healthy, I don't think there's a team that can beat us. We ran out of soldiers. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But when you lose and you're that close to it, you want to get back at it.
Yeah.
And having that year off was not. And then they changed the rules. And then Daryl did, in my opinion, stick out. And Daryl's biggest mistake then was thinking, because we actually had a young team that year, was thinking that we needed more veteran presence, when the rest of the league was recognizing, no, we don't need older. We need younger and faster and more skilled. I think
especially with the rule changes.
Yes, exactly. It was
maybe wasn't going to be any rule changes if we just kept playing.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
yeah,
if the rule changes that they made, you had to change the team, because we wouldn't have won many games with today's rules.
You go back, watch 03-04 playoff hockey, and see how many penalties are called. It's a different game.
We would have had a tough time.
Yeah. It was funny in COVID here. I don't know what it was like in Sweden, but I mean, you can't do anything. They're replaying. There's no sports because everything's shut down. So they would replay all these old famous hockey series, whichever, TV channel had the rights, would play these classic series. And that 04 run, they televised a bunch of it. It was like, holy shit, I don't remember this being so unwatchable. Like it was locked down, grab onto a guy, low scoring, no penalties, low event hockey. And then when there was a chance, there's fucking Mika. No way that's going in.
That's the way it was, though.
Yeah.
We try to win 2-1.
Always. Yeah. Always try to.
I don't know that you could do that in today's NHL.
It would be tough. I don't think you can.
I mean, I guess Florida won 2-1 in the game 7 there, but
yeah, but I don't think that's the approach to it. If you get into a situation, you're always going to try and lock it down, and if you got to do it, you do. But I don't think teams are designed to play that hockey anyway, and nor should they. Yeah, because I just don't think over the long term that it's a recipe for success. There wouldn't be a GM out there that's going, I'm going to win 2-1. For 70% of the games, 60% of the games. It's just not happening. You
had noted you got 2 Mike Keenan exposures. It wasn't good for you in Florida. When you got hired in Calgary, you knew the end was coming.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but I knew, just don't think he's a good person. I knew right away when they signed him, I'm probably not going to want to be part of it. Was going to be a fit. And to be fair, there's a lot of coaches for certain players. I mean, it would feel like you're taking a shot at a guy if it wasn't almost unanimous that most players say that. I just don't looking back at it, and I knew what I knew because I had him for 2 years. But I was younger when I had him before, and you're just trying to make your mark in the league and stuff. But he treats people so bad that you just don't want to be part of it. I'm not saying he's coaching wise, I mean, I don't know. It's just, but person wise, it's really bad. Drags the fun out of all of it. Yeah. And disrespects people all the time. And I just don't need it. That's not the way to go about it. You can be hard on guys. That's not what your beef is. It's the over the top. Daryl's way harder on guys than he is, but he's fair and he's honest. Yeah. And he respects you. Yeah. Felt like mind games was Keenan's thing, right? He'd toy with you. Oh, it's mind games every day. Yeah. How many people does he dress for a warm up? Oh yeah, can't let anyone know who's playing yet. Yeah. So you can dress 18 plays, right? He dresses 23 for warm up.
Yeah.
Whatever
Every
the maximum is. Crazy.
Like,
some of the stuff he did was just
it's just ongoing every day. Like,
yeah.
But that's, you can put up with that, but it's the actual.
When he gets to the personal side of things,
Yeah, like
it's
he
actually
takes enjoyment of like actually disrespecting and belittling people. Like that's, I don't like that.
Yeah.
So then you knew you were okay, like this is it here. I'm not a fit with Mike. I had
one more year, but it's on my contract. But talking to Daryl, and he understood, and so I left. Basically,
crazy. Yeah,
I didn't remember you had a year left.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I just didn't want to play.
I don't want to be miserable and live. Yeah.
And you do that again. You have no regrets about that. I mean, obviously the money's good, but it's like you'd said it. You didn't want to have to deal with another Mike Keenan season.
I don't know if I'd do the same again. It's tough to say, but there and then, like right at that moment, you just play that fun also. Like, not only
that's like me. Mike kind of ended me too. And I don't know that I had much left in the tank anyway, but I look back and go, oh, I wish I'd gone to Europe.
Yeah.
But at the time you make a decision because you're like, oh, the body feels like shit or this or that. And you make the decision. Now you can look back on it and go, oh, I wish I'd done something different. But you forget where you were at that time when you start thinking that way.
I was 30 and I played another 7 years. So like the tank wasn't empty. I mean, I couldn't have played in the NHL until I was 37. I don't think I wasn't that good, but I'm pretty sure I could have played a couple more years. Found another
more
years. Yeah.
What was the KHL like? Because I know depending on when guys play there and which organizations they're in, you get wildly varying stories. Some guys love it. Some guys hate it. It's never boring. The stories are always good. What was your experience? Because you went to,
I think the KHL was the first year when I went there.
Okay. So it went from Russian Super League.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so it was KHL. Not that I don't know if there was.
It's a branding exercise. Yeah.
But I absolutely loved it. Like, the whole year, like it was so much fun.
It's good hockey.
I wouldn't say the hockey was that good, but it was a cultural experience that was so different. Also,
you're saying like not many English speaking guys, but even with that being said, you still enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, and there was one, except for the guys on the team that spoke English, there was probably one person in the city that spoke English. they had a translator in the front office.
You said you had a Finnish coach, and that helped.
Yeah, that helped. But even though the management, everybody didn't speak English, they were so nice and
treated you well.
Treated like I've never been treated so good. Like,
and
they did everything for you. Like.
And so you're having fun again playing hockey, or you're really enjoying that season.
Yeah, hockey wise, I had quite a bad season, but just everything around it was so much fun.
Okay. And then
maybe it's because it's different and you get to learn other stuff, and I don't know.
It was a change, but
I would do it again. It sounds bad now, the way the world is right now, but
you liked it
at that time. It wasn't.
Yeah, wasn't a political thing at all. You go back to Djurgården after that. You said that was your hometown team.
Yeah.
That's got to be kind of fun. And at this point, you're not there because of a lockout or business in the NHL going sideways. You're there now to play for your hometown team.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was awesome. I mean, not Calgary Flames awesome, but it's a different kind of, I don't know how it's tough to describe, but it's
more laid back, probably schedule wise.
Yeah. But it's also where if you're from where I'm from, like it matters, like
a lot of pride and yeah.
And now they're not even not even the top league right now, but it's the most famous club in Sweden, and they always sell out. It's different kind of fans in Europe. Like, you got the soccer single fans the whole games, and it's a cool place to play.
Yeah.
So 7 years in Europe after the NHL, a bunch in Sweden. It looks like 6 the last year in the second division, but every other year the first league. You starting a family at that point?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I wanted to be at home. Like we were having a baby, and you need your grandparents. They're good to have.
They're handy to have around. Yeah. Again, finally.
Plus, I was always like, if I'm going to play in Europe, there's only one team that I want to play for.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to Russia for the money,
Right.
obviously. Then I really liked it, but I didn't go there because I was going to like it.
Yeah.
I went there because of the money.
Yeah. And your wife's pregnant, so you go back to Sweden.
Yeah.
You get to do that thing where you play for the poster on your wall as a kid. You're proud of the team you cheered for.
Exactly.
Full circle experience. And now your son's actually becoming a bit of a part of the story. You're actually over here in North America because he's competing in Edmonton at the Gretzky Holinka tournament for Sweden. What's it been like watching him develop as a hockey player?
Oh, it's fun. I mean, he really likes it, and I would be happy if he did whatever he wanted to do, but it's a little extra fun that he wants to play hockey. So
totally.
It's fun to watch him.
And so hockey over there for the kids in Sweden, you said move away at a young age.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot, depending on where you're from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of kids have to move away
if they want to compete at a high level.
Like the biggest city in Sweden is Stockholm. And by far, they have the most kids in an area playing hockey. And there's only two clubs in Stockholm that are kind of big. So most Stockholm kids have to move away.
And same player as you?
He skates better.
Well, they have
everyone.
To.
Well, everybody skates better than me nowadays.
No, and that's not a shot at you. It's just the game, right? Like skating is so much more important now than it was in the early 2000s.
Kids nowadays, skating and skills, they're way better. But they don't think it and they don't work it, I don't think, the same way that we used to.
Physicality.
Yeah, it's just, I almost feel like it's a mindset, right? Like it is physicality, but I don't know. It's hard to describe, but you watch the kids, they can zip around and move the puck and pick it up and do things with it and skate better. They don't play it as hard, I don't think. And I don't mean just physically. They don't
just that fight,
just that will, that desire that I will put my face in front of this puck because it matters, right? To block a shot or do that little extra thing. Line change. Go watch, and maybe it's just youth and kids. Watch them do a line change. Get off.
Or maybe just the world's always changing.
Probably,
when we were 17, there was a couple old farts sitting there and
watching us
saying the same thing. I don't know, but I think the big difference now is you got social media, you got all that attention all the time, and kids are different than we were.
Yeah, totally.
It's just the way.
Totally different world.
And probably I was different than my dad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hey, guys, Peter Klein at McLeod Law as the personal injury guy, but did you know he's also the go-to guy for your disability insurance claim? If your long-term disability insurance company is refusing to pay insurance benefits to you, contact Peter. He will get you the disability benefits you paid for and that you deserve. He'll get you peace of mind back, the peace of mind you paid for. That is McLeod Law, Peter Klein. Give him a call, 403-254-3864 or McLeod-law.com. You can find them on social media at McLeod Law LLP. If you know life, unexpected costs pop up everywhere. Whether that's a kid that wants to suddenly be a goalie, maybe it's a little car mishap. Gotta get that fixed. Didn't have that in the budget. Or maybe it's just the air conditioner not working on a hot night or saying, you know what? It is time to buck up for that one really nice thing we need around the house. Guess what? With Spring Financial, you can cover those unexpected costs right from your phone. Receiving an e-transfer within hours, Spring Financial offers online loans from $500 up to $35,000. No stress, no branch visits ever. Join the thousands of happy customers who've made Spring Financial Canada's top-rated lender. You can apply in 3 minutes at springfinancial.ca/barn. That website, springfinancial.ca/barn.
Looking for the fastest personal loan in Canada? Well, look no further. Spring Financial offers fully online personal loans with zero stress and no need for branch visits. But don't take our word for it.
Thank you. Thank you, Spring Financial.
Thank you very much.
Spring Financial is the best.
Apply today at springfinancial.ca.
Hey guys, it's Pinder. All throughout the year, Village Honda brings you the Pinder Report for the latest in what's happening in the sports world and maybe the odd crocodile and snake. But today we are at your dealership for life in the Northwest Auto Mall. Let's see what's happening at Village Honda. Now this is one of my personal favorites. This is the 2025 Honda Pilot Trail Sport Edition. Sexy. The woven in the headrest, third row. It's a mid-size SUV that's totally built for adventures in Western Canada. Village Honda, your dealership for life, online at villagehonda.com and in the Northwest Auto Mall.
Let's get back to another summer edition of Barn Burner. Did you have a favorite player growing up? Like, who would your idols have been in Sweden? Was it a guy that played in the Swedish league? Were you born watching or growing up watching a lot of NHL hockey? And because you mentioned it now, like kids will be scrolling through highlights. Like,
I think I probably was 17 or something, but when I saw my first NHL game. Yeah.
Wow. And your kid would see highlights forever on YouTube, right? Yeah.
So my idols were guys playing in your garden in my team. So you got to go watch them once in a while.
Did you get to go to many of those games growing up?
A few, yeah. My dad took me a few times a year, maybe.
It was funny. I think it was the Leafs opened up over there this past fall for the beginning of a hockey season, and I think it was a huge hit. Like they played like 3 or 4 games. They had 3 teams. I want to say Ottawa, Toronto, and one other team were over there. And it was like the NHL needs to do this more. Like this is a country that churns out hockey players and is one of the most, if not the most popular sport. Like, how do we do this more? Like you would have been around it a bit. What do you like? I feel like that. I
went to a game there and there was some events and stuff. Yeah. And it was really big. Like people really showed up for the games.
Yeah. It felt like a big deal for, just a game in October or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for next year. We're going to get 4 nations. So Sweden, Finland, Canada, USA.
That'll be fun.
It's not World Cup. It's not Olympics. It's not okay. But we finally get to have, the best on best. Like we get to see in Canada a team that has Bedard, McDavid, McKinnon, Crosby. Like, I can't wait for that. And I'm sure, in Sweden,
it's going to be fun to watch. Yeah. But just those events over there, you can just see that the NHL is really big overall in Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't looking back at mine, like I didn't even know what the draft was, basically.
Yeah.
Now it's like your time, because my kid's 17, it's his draft year. I didn't know about a draft year. Like
agents, like draft years, training, just a different
season.
world.
Like there's this draft you're going over to. Like, okay.
So he's a right shot centerman. That sounds familiar. Does he know where he's playing this year in terms of club hockey?
Yeah, he's playing in your garden. Yeah.
Oh, he's playing your garden. So he came because he was at a Rebro, or however we're supposed to say it.
I didn't have an influence on him, so he picked another team when he had to choose for junior. Which I mean, it's his
so he'll
hockey,
be in
it's not mine. But now he actually himself wanted to get closer to home.
So he'll be SHL this year then. Or the junior team, who knows?
He'll be in the junior team.
So because they often go up and down. This is the thing we don't get in North America. Like you could play at 3 different levels. You can play U17, U18, U20 all the same year. You can play the men's team for a couple, come back down. Yeah. It's an interesting model because you could, rather than a whole season where you're like, I'm just dominating, or like, I'm not good enough here. You get to bounce around, and if it's working, you stay. If it's not, you
like this year, he's got 3 teams he could basically play for.
Yeah.
Because in junior in Sweden, you have 2 junior teams.
Okay.
You got an under 20 and an under 18.
Right.
Just 2 different leagues. And he can play for the men's team.
And then
but he wants to go to college.
Really?
So he can't play for the men's team.
Oh, once you cross the barrier, then it's
because that's professional.
You're not an amateur,
right?
Yeah. Interesting. Which is tough for Europeans. Like, I mean, the system is being built for
that
the U.S., but it's
Why college? I mean, obviously it's a great route.
Again, that's a good question because when you're growing up,
no one's doing
anyone going to college?
No,
not even a consideration. Probably
didn't even know it existed.
It was an option, and so it's gotten to be where kids are going. Maybe
it's not that many Swedes are going, but it's starting to get more and more.
Yeah.
So what does he like about that option?
I think we've talked about it at home, and me as a parent, I would like to see him get an education.
Sure.
I'm not forcing him, but then he started looking into it and he saw that it was pretty cool. Like,
well, then you see the $30 million dressing rooms and training centers, and you're like, this just seems like it's okay.
Yeah. I think he just started watching YouTube and like, this seems awesome.
Yeah.
And,
Packed arenas.
exactly. And then after that, he's like, I want to go to college. Which I'm really, that's what he wants to do, I'm really happy instead of, I mean, you're going to play hockey, like if you play in Sweden or you can go to Canada, but at least here you're
doing both. You get hockey and an education.
If you stay 4 years, I mean, you got to,
something else to fall back on.
You had a college education, which I would really appreciate to have when I retired.
And a 15-year-old daughter, hockey player.
Yeah, she plays too.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
How big is, I mean, obviously women's hockey is huge compared to where it was before, but is there a Swedish professional league for women there? Or is it like, is she trying to go to college too? Because I know even in Canada, we send most of our best players to college in the States.
She's turning 15 here, so I don't know.
It's pretty early.
She doesn't know what she's going to do tomorrow. I was going to say that. She's just having fun. There's a pro league in Sweden, but I think and the game is really growing. Girls hockey is basically the only hockey in Sweden that's getting bigger.
Okay.
So, but it's not, I think, compared to Canada where it's way behind.
Yeah, interesting. It's like Canada, USA, seeing the final, who's going to play for bronze. That happens, right? There'll be countries catch up. But
I watch the Swedish women play in Canada. It's like grown-ups playing against kids.
Not there yet.
No, it's going to take a while. But
give it time. So you're going to be in Edmonton watching your son play at Link. Are you the stress case dad, or are you totally chill about it? Are there any chill dads, or are there only psycho hockey dads?
I don't know. I thought I was chill, and then I started drinking the Kool-Aid, and now I'm starting.
I'm like, I'll be relaxed. Look at all these other dads are too stressed. I'm like, get that puck, win a battle.
I think I'm pretty chill.
You seem pretty chill, but again, your kid's not playing in the room.
I'm just happy he gets to experience this stuff. Like, it's like now he gets to go to Edmonton. It's awesome.
There's not a lot of kids that don't get to do it.
No,
it's
you know, they got Canada in their group. He gets to play against Canada. Like,
any former players traveling to Edmonton, like on the with kids on the team, other guys?
There's one guy, he played
a little bit,
maybe 20, 30 games for New Jersey. He was assistant coach in Columbus this year, Joseph Boumedian.
Okay.
His kid's on the team.
Yeah.
And then there's a few kids on the team that their dads played in the Swedish league.
So I was just going to say, so are there many kids that whose parents you grew up with or played against, or kind of because now
there's like 2 or 3 other than me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it feels like now when I'm at the rink, I run into someone every time. Adrian Acoin was at the rink the other day, ran into him, and it always feels like there's somebody somewhere.
Well, it seems like guys around our age has kids around that age.
In that era.
Yeah, you got a bunch of teammates all of a sudden. Rhett's going to these tournaments in like Rochester and Detroit, and he's like, run into this guy, run into that guy. I'm like, this is like an alumni kids tournament you're at, I swear.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy how many. Coach a kid growing up? How involved were you in coaching? Or
I was coaching my kids' team. Yeah, from when the team started until they were going to junior. Yeah.
Liked the coaching side? Would you be interested in getting into the coaching side? We talked a little bit off the air about. I said it when I always fantasize about being coaching and back in the game, but I really wanted to stick around and be around my kids as much as possible too. It's hard to do both now that they're getting older. Consideration for you?
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Like, do we have to call Conroy right now? Like, he listens. His wife listens and she reports back on
this is where we plant the seeds.
Yeah, this is where we make
pull the
things
strings.
happen.
Yeah.
I think the road to becoming an NHL coach for me, it's pretty long. But, I could be a scout, maybe.
All right. Yeah.
But coaching is fun. But I just did it
because you want to be with your kid and help out.
Well, and help. We're from like a small suburb of Stockholm. Like, you start with 20 kids, and those are the kids you have.
Okay.
So you just try to help them out.
Rather than some guy wearing boots out onto the ice.
Yeah. I know. Like, I was playing old man hockey till COVID hit. And then it was like everything got canceled. Then it started up again. And I'm like, well, I'm on the ice 3-4 days a week. Like that scratches the itch for me, just coaching. I don't need to, like, I'd like to play a game now and then, but that sort of that piece of being in the locker room, you're just getting it with your kids instead of your buddies. I'm like, I'm okay with that.
This is exciting to watch the kids be excited as me in there doing.
And I have to say, it's fun to be at games too, because you don't get like the game like feeling
juices, right? Yeah,
your personal life. So that's one of the things.
Well, I
miss it a lot.
Yeah,
like,
when I coached my oldest kid last year, and I'd have to miss my other two kids' games because of it, and you're like, it's awesome, love being around that kid and seeing his games. Pissed off when you had to miss the other kids playing and stuff, because it is exciting and fun at any level. Yeah, it doesn't have to be high-end hockey. Just the fact that they're out there competing and into it and enjoying it.
It's funny. We talk about it a bunch, like on this show, another show I do. It's like for guys that have done what you guys have done, which is like you think about that 04 run and the level of insanity that surrounded those playoff games. Like there is an incredibly small number of players that get to experience that. Never mind humans. There's guys in the NHL that'll never play in an atmosphere like that. Like you have to be right spot, right time to get into that. You all of a sudden your career's over. It usually doesn't happen on your terms. It's usually like, well, I wish I could play longer. I couldn't. That's how the sport goes. Father time's undefeated. How do you go to a next phase of your life and not feel like you're missing something? And the thing you're missing, how do you go get it? Like you're never going to be in front of 20,000 people again. Like I feel like that's a big challenge for guys when they retire. And I know you spend a lot of time talking to other alumni about this and trying to sort of fill that void in different ways.
It hurt for a long time. It's still, there's things it's no fun. I can tell you that. You think we reminisce about it, and I'm certainly better now being 15 years out of the game. It kind of time heals you up a little bit, but for the first 6 months, I was pumped. I'm like, oh, I got freedom. I can do what I want. This is great. For the next 18 months, it was like, this is not a good spot for Rhett to be.
So I don't have any responsibilities. This isn't good. Oof. What was post playing like?
I was lucky. I got to hang him up on my own.
Decided.
Your own
terms?
Like
it was. I was 37, and I just felt like there was another summer coming up, and I didn't have it anymore.
Yeah. How old was your son then? You got to watch you play as a youngster.
He got to watch me a little bit. Yeah. He was
17 now.
Doing around 7. Yeah.
That's cool. A lot of guys don't get to do that.
No.
But that being said, I mean, I still miss it. Like I miss the games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If somebody could have said, you're fine, just play the games, I would have kept playing till now, obviously. But you can't get that anywhere else.
No. You come back to Calgary because you hadn't been back for a while. Are there certain spots, places, things you want to check out, or just feel the vibe of the town?
I just want to feel the vibe. Yeah. Maybe go by where I used to live. Yeah. My son was born here too, so I might go by the hospital there. It was good times. Yeah.
Where did you live in town?
I can't remember what it's called.
Okay.
I called back home.
Somebody's gonna have to.
Give me
somebody remember what the neighborhood was called. First I lived in Kensington. I remember that.
I remember when you lived there. You came into a cheese store I was working at for a month, and it was around Christmas or after that, and I'm just like, oh, that's Europeans. They're so smart. They're coming. Like, he's just gonna have cheese and a nice glass of wine. Like, what the hell? I'm like the same age as this guy. I'm doing nothing with my life. I'm selling him cheese.
And then I lived on the other side of the city, but I just can't remember.
I'm guessing Aspen, probably out in that.
It was close to downtown, like
maybe Altadore. Who knows? That's where all the guys
might have been.
Yeah,
might be Altadore.
Not far from here,
which is exactly.
Yeah,
it's just like
somewhere in the construction zone, the vortex here.
I just want to come back. Like I love this place. Like I'm really proud to have played for the Flames. Like it meant a lot to me.
Well, I'll tell you this, like there was not a team that the city was more proud of, since the internet was invented. Like the 89 team won the cup. That was hardly color TV. Your group, that team that you both played on, lives in the hearts of Flames fans. That is the greatest team we saw in like 40 years. It's incredible.
It's crazy to think that
Almost
it
40.
kind of is. And I think that there were two things going on. I think that the city was vibrant with the energy industry and how it was going at that time. 9 years, I think it was, without making the playoffs. It had been a long
96, Jerome made his debut and they got swept by Chicago. They weren't back again until 3 or 4.
A long time. Unexpected.
Yep.
Unexpected.
Underdogs. How could you not root for them?
Christ, you go back to November, we were nowhere near a playoff spot, I don't think. And then how we played.
Yeah.
Was something else that people, I think, appreciated was that, our top scorer was one hell of a player, but he only had 73 points. We're going to play a certain way. We're going to have to outwork that other team. And we did. And there was so many good guys on that team. We lost a few of them.
Yeah.
Our buddy Cy's gone now. Old Monty's gone. Sad news when you hear that stuff.
I don't cry a lot, but it was tough to see that what happened to Cy.
Yeah, he was. Well, it's one of those.
Well, you lose track of guys. Like you live in different. Like I don't. And then you just read it in the paper, and it just hits you pretty hard. Like,
yeah.
What do you remember about him as a teammate? Like, because he came in almost same time as you. You're both mid-season arrivals that year.
I just thought he was an unbelievable teammate, a great guy, and since we got traded at the same time, we both stayed at a hotel for a while and got to hang out quite a bit, and he was really enjoyable to play with.
Everyone raved about the teammate.
He was and he'd battled those demons prior and was living good, and that big booming voice and do anything for you and protect you. He was and we had such a good group. You talk about Monty too. It wasn't that it was Monty or Cy or Marcus or Kipper. It was the collective. It was the collective, and I think that's what I think everyone on that team would say the same thing. It wasn't one person. Yeah,
that's why the team was so beloved. It was the sum was greater than the total of the individual parts. You weren't a more skilled team than Detroit. You weren't a more skilled team than San Jose. You weren't, but yet you probably could have won a cup because when all you guys were put together, that everyone fit. Everyone had a role. Darryl was the perfect coach. Mika was the perfect goalie. It was unbelievable.
We had a good time. We were sad you weren't there. Mika's thing was a good time over the last year. Yeah, it was. We had a lot of fun seeing guys and catching up there. We need to have some sort of reunion. Get everybody.
Yeah, I thought about that because with the Mika thing, I'm like, I wish I was there. Like, but can't just.
Hey guys, I'm here.
Like, what
the fuck is Marcus Nilson doing here?
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to buy a plane ticket and go.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
Well, all we need.
You can't invite every guy he's played with. Like,
yeah,
there's a couple hundred guys. Like,
yeah, totally.
So I totally understand that. I wish I was there.
It was funny too because everyone's like, "Well, Noodles will speak for him for sure." Like there was is he going to talk? He talked and he did actually a really good job. I don't know if you saw any of it, but he was.
I saw it.
We were joking that like if you had to set the over under, it'd be like about 45 seconds over or under, and he went for like a good 4, 5, 6 minutes. We've never seen that from Kipper.
No,
at least not publicly. You guys might have seen it after a few pops.
That's pretty ballsy by him. Like that's a good job by him. Like just probably took a lot of courage to do that.
His son, he was pretty nervous for a guy that didn't show any emotion. He stood on his head. I think that's probably as nerve wracking as a thing as Kipper's ever done because he doesn't put himself out there.
Well, here's what we need to do. We'll get Connie's wife to tell Connie that there's a draft coming up this year. We need another Nilson in the organization. And then you got a good excuse to get over here. We'll have a new building built in no time here, new rink. And then we get the Marcus Nilson experience full time, not just once in a decade here. Good plan, everyone.
I think it works. Come on, Connie.
If I had more time, I would come here.
He's a skier.
Is that right?
We got to have this. Yeah.
What do you had the perfect excuse? Like downhill, not cross country, right?
Downhill, yeah.
Come on now.
When I retired, I was like a year in. I'm like, I got to find something that gives me some adrenaline and hobby. And I went on some ski trips, and I'm really into it.
So where you flying into France, Switzerland, Austria to ski, things like that?
I've been here a couple of times. I'm going this winter.
Where are you skiing out here?
Around Kicking Horse, Revelstoke.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Unreal. That's some good living.
I've been to Whitewater,
Okay.
Fernie.
Yeah.
So you come back a bit. All right.
Yeah.
I was
But
underselling.
I've never because usually you go with a group, right?
Yeah.
You just land in
Land and
Calgary,
go.
rented a car, and then you head out. So
Well,
maybe this winter I'll try to get him to stick around for
A couple more days.
I'd like to see a game.
if you can convince Rhett to stay here, I mean, it all works. We're still working on that.
Yeah.
Somehow he's decided Buffalo, New York's the place.
What
to
a
be.
spot.
I mean,
Oh,
for
yeah.
me, I would want to live in Calgary, but it's just when you're from where you're like,
Oh yeah.
it's normal. Like, but if it wasn't for that, Calgary would be my spot, I think.
Great having you in here.
you
Appreciate
very
you
much,
sharing
guys.
some time with us. I want you to enjoy that tournament in Edmonton.
I'm gonna try it.
They're going to try to indoctrinate you in the orange and blue stuff. Don't do it.
You know.
You're a
He
flame
knows.
through and through.
He knows better.
Don't let your kid get indoctrinated either. Great to see you. And Rhett, you work on this living in Calgary, bringing Marcus back. I smell a barn burner ski trip. Let's do it.
I'm in. Let's go.
Thanks a lot. Thanks,
Thanks, Marcus.
All right.